Here are 8 minutes of useless automotive facts and trivia, most of which you will for sure forget by the time you clicked off this video. Ready? Let's begin. You know that weird orange glow BMW uses for their dashboards? That's not some random color choice. It's actually tuned to around 605 nanometers, which is basically the perfect wavelength for nighttime visibility. BMW picked that orange on purpose. It's literally the safest, least distracting color to glance at while driving in the dark. The Subaru Accent is the world record for the most cup holders in any given car, 19, which is 4 per passenger. People don't really know why Subaru chose to put in this many cup holders, but my theory is this is just a marketing stunt. The 2011 Lexus SC430 was the last production car to have a cassette player. It's funny to think, at the time of iPhones and 4G, Lexus was still stuck in the past. Don't worry, if you still want a cassette player in your car, all hope isn't lost, because you could just buy a $20 one on Amazon instead. The Hyundai Veloster has 3 doors. Not like 3 doors including the hatch, no. It has 2 regular front doors and only 1 in the back to access the rear. Hyundai designed it that way on purpose. It's basically a practical coupe, but only if you look at it from one angle. From the driver's side, it looks sporty. Walk around to the passenger side, and it suddenly becomes a family-friendly hatchback. Weird, but kinda genius. The Lamborghini Rev Gualto is a passenger speedometer. Why? No one's really sure, but funnily enough, it was how the YouTuber Marcus Brownlee was caught on video speeding in a school zone. Don't you just love it when people broadcast their crimes to the internet? Early Honda Elements came with rubber floor mats and water-resistant seats, because Honda originally marketed towards surfers and outdoors people. You could spill a drink, drag sand in, or even get the seats wet after swimming and it didn't matter. It was basically a mini SUV you could rinse out like a cooler. Cars today? Yeah, good luck spilling water on your heated leather seats without crying. The largest touchscreen ever put into a production car is 2025 Escalade IQ. It is a 55-inch curved LED display stretching across the entire dash. Yes, 55 inches. That's not a screen, that's a living room TV glued to the dash. At this point, you're not driving. You're basically operating a Best Buy demo wall on wheels. CVT cars can almost drive as fast as reverse as they can forward. This is because a CVT doesn't have traditional gears. It just changes the ratio continuously. So if the car's programming doesn't specifically limit how fast it could go backward, you could technically reach higher speeds in reverse than you'd expect. Another fact like this, the G-Wagon used to have a bug in 2018 where the reverse limiter was just disabled. Why? Because of a coding issue. It then led to a massive recall. Maybe they should have used the G-Wagon instead of a semi-truck and big rigs. On the 2010 Mazda 6, there's a particularly weird recall. Certain cars with a 2.5-liter engine could have a yellow sac spider build a web in the canister vent hose. Mazda's fix? Dealers will inspect and clean the vent line, install a spring or a new hose to prevent spiders from entering, and if needed, replace the check valve or fuel tank. So yeah, one of the most bizarre recalls in recent times. Spiders, webbing up fuel system components. If you've got or are thinking of buying a 2010 Mazda 6, check the recall status. Don't skip this one. But come on, who wouldn't want this cute little guy living in their car? The Subaru Crosstrek is actually just a lifted Impreza with plastic cladding. That's it. This is pure marketing genius. People see a hatchback? Nah. Americans see a so-called off-road hatchback that's called an SUV? Sure, why not? And just like that, it sells 5 times more than the regular Impreza, even though it's more expensive and has worse mileage. All hype, all profit. In 2015, Volkswagen got caught selling cars that pumped 15 times the legal limit of emissions. And get this, the cars had software that knew they were being tested and magically cleaned up their act. They got caught, stocks tanked, and Volkswagen had to buy back thousands of cars and dump them all into a giant junkyard. The hilarious part, a few of these cheating cars still roam the streets today, with their drivers blissfully unaware that every downshift is taking out polar bears and melting 5 polar ice caps a second. Volvo's turn signals were recorded with sounds of Swedish native tree branches breaking. Take a listen. In 2021 and early 2022, Hyundais and Kias are getting stolen left and right. Why? People were using USB sticks to turn on the ignition, and the car thought it was a key fob. So, it worked. Off they went. It was so easy, even kids are doing it and they turned it into a TikTok trend. Eventually, Hyundai and Kia patched the problem and rolled out fixes, but the damage from the trend was already done. The BMW i3's interior is one of the most eco-friendly ever made. Nearly everything inside, from the seats to the trim, is made from recycled or renewable materials. This even includes old fishing nets, recycled plastics, and natural fibers, showing that BMW is trying to make a car that is sustainable from the inside out, not just in its electric drivetrain. The best-selling modern racing game is BeamNG Drive, with a whopping 7 million copies sold and still growing. Its player count is absolutely demolishing Forza, Need for Speed, and other AAA racing games. In the early 1970s, Renault introduced a new logo, a rhombus diamond shape on models like the Renault 15 and the upcoming Renault 5. The logo in question closely resembled the rhombus-style logo of the British tobacco company Kent, which claimed Renault had copied their design. As a result of illegal pressure, Renault pulled back the logo after a short usage period and replaced it with a different design. Funny enough, some of these cars with that old logo are still on the road today, and they are crazy rare. In Japan during the early 80s, Honda offered a compact fold-up scooter called the Moto Compo as a factory accessory for the Honda City. The Moto Compo folded into a rectangular block so it could fit neatly in the trunk of the City. When you park, you could get out and just ride away. The Honda City's trunk was designed with the Moto Compo in mind. Honda engineered the hatch and cargo space so it could be carried without even needing a trailer. You probably recognize the Ford Crown Victoria as an iconic service vehicle, but in New York it's not anymore. The last Crown Victoria taxis were officially retired in May last year, marking the end of an era. However, many Crown Victoria police cars still patrol the streets today. The iconic Bravado Banshee from GTA was turned into a real-life car using a Dodge Viper SRT10 as a base. It was won by a grandma in a contest who was confused why she was randomly given a custom-made sports car. In reality, her son entered the contest and she was left with the car. She eventually sold it for way less, and it now sits in a museum to this day. Tesla claims the modern Tesla Roadster will have a 0 to 60 of 1.9 seconds, and with the SpaceX package, under 1 second. But here's the thing, we haven't heard about it since 2019, and it can't and probably won't exist. Modern Hyundais have 4 dots on the steering wheel. Why? Because it's actually H in Morse code. Not only that, but they also mark the safest spot to put your thumbs on the wheel, so you know your hands don't get thrown in your face when the airbag deploys. Also, the correct spot to put your hands on the wheel is 9 and 3, not 10 and 2, for the same reason. Remember Nikola Motors? In 2018, they had a problem with their so-called prototype truck. It can't and wouldn't move. So what did they do? They rolled it down a hill and rotated the footage so it looked flat and driving. People weren't dumb enough to be fooled by it, and they found out. In late 2003, General Motors reportedly had between 7,500 and 10,000 unsold 2003 Malibus sitting in GM-owned storage lots in Michigan, while the next-gen 2004 model was already arriving in dealerships. Why? Because of a manufacturing error. GM told the plant, slow down the production of the 2003 model, but there was a communication error, and dealerships were forced to sell a model that was a generation behind. Did you know the 1983 Honda City Turbo 2 had a rear-mounted radiator? Most cars put it in the front, but this helped balance the mid-engine layout perfectly. It's a tiny detail that made this little hatch a unique engineering marvel. The Corvette C4 had hidden windshield wipers that sit completely out of sight until you needed them. It wasn't just for style, it also improved aerodynamics at high speeds. Next time you see a sleek C4, remember those secret wipers are hiding in plain sight. Some Porsche 911 models have a hidden front trunk drain. It's designed to prevent flooding if rainwater gets in, a tiny engineering detail that shows how thorough Porsche really is. Only around 5% of Americans are comfortable riding in a self-driving car, and could you blame the other 95%? I barely trust ChatGPT to tell me the weather, let alone a self-driving car that could kill me at any given second. No thanks. Luckily, we don't have to worry about self-driving cars taking over anytime soon. The average car age in the US is 12.8 years, an increase from the decade before. Makes sense, because look at how expensive and unreliable new cars are getting. Expect to see more 2008 Altimas on the road with mispatched door panels as the years go by. Well, that wraps it up. 8 minutes of random, useless automotive facts you probably already forgot. Let me know if you'd like a part 2, because I have this huge document of even weirder car facts I scoured the internet for. Also, please let me know down below some of your favorite car facts. You could make it in part 2. Thanks for watching, and remember people, drive safe, drive smart, but most importantly, drive something worth talking about. See you in the next one.